Hey everybody, what's up? What's up, guys? So some time ago we discussed what makes for a great JRPG story. Remember that? If you didn't watch that video, well, I'll leave it at the end, or you can also look it up on YouTube after this one if you want to, or before this one, or during this one if you want to. We discussed back then live. I also did this live on what, in my opinion, was a great JRPG story. What makes for a great JRPG story. Right, so today we're gonna discuss the next feature of JRPGs, the next most important feature in JRPGs, which is what makes for a great JRPG battle system. You know, what does it need? What does it require to be great, to be considered, widely considered great? So thanks for joining, everybody. Welcome. Feel free to drop in the chat and post your comments and your opinions on the matter. So I guess I'll start. Obviously. Well, I think what makes a great battle system in any video game whatsoever, not just in JRPGs, well, it's all a matter of opinion, right? It's always subjective. What's a good battle system for you can be a good battle system for the next person, and so on. Not everybody's gonna like the same combat, but I think we can all agree, and objectively speaking, I think what makes a great JRPG a great combat in video games is it needs to be fun. Video games are a source of entertainment. It is a form of art. You know, a lot of people see this as a form of art. A lot of people don't. I do. I think it's several arts combined. There's writing in there, literature, there's visuals in there, graphic design, art. You know, it's just several art styles combined. And well, I think art needs to be entertaining, right? So as long as it is fun, you know, we can all agree with that. A JRPG battle systems need to be fun. We can all agree with that. But what's fun for you and what's fun for me might be different. So I'm gonna tell you, what makes a JRPG combat fun or entertaining for me, or entertaining or engaging for me. Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to address that it seems to me that nowadays a lot of people want their battle systems to be convoluted, complicated, and really hard and really challenging. Most people. I grew up with that. Well, not grew up with that, more like I was in my 20s, when I started getting into more and more JRPGs. And I have played several battle systems. I've tried several of them. I've seen complicated done right. I've seen complicated done wrong, but right or wrong being more like, in my opinion, more like I saw a complicated battle system that I didn't like and a complicated battle system that I did like. Examples: the battle system in Valkyrie Profile 2. Okay? That's a really overly complicated, convoluted battle system that I freaking love. But then there's a game like Resonance of Fate. That's an overly complicated battle system that I just don't like. And once I figured it out a little bit, the basics at least, I was like, I don't like this. This is not fun for me. Maybe fun as hell for some of you, cool. But that wasn't fun for me. I was like, I don't want to run around, during turns, in position and craft, make these lines to shoot at my enemies and do these acrobatics, and it's just nah. I just didn't like that, right? So you're probably wondering, okay, so do you like complicated battle systems? Yes or no? Okay, well, yes and no. Like I said, some battle systems are complicated and I like them, and some of them are not. Some of them are just too complex, and even if I understand them, that doesn't mean, because this is important, once you understand the battle system, once you understand its mechanics, that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna like it, right? But what about the ones that are simple? What about all of those very, very simplistic battle mechanics? Where you choose, say some action RPGs, where you choose like swing a sword in three different ways, and maybe do a couple of skills, and that's it. Are those bad battle systems then? Are they too simple? Outdated? Well, I don't think so. I like complicated as much as the next guy, but I also like simple as much as the next guy. It's the same. So There are a lot of really simple battle mechanics out there that I love, and others that I just don't. They either are maybe too simple for me, or maybe they are simple and boring. I'm gonna quote this guy. I wore this T-shirt, The Cure T-shirt today. So I want to quote this person, Robert Smith. This guy is pretty much The Cure. He himself is The Cure. So the thing is that he said one day that sometimes the simplest of songs with the more simplest of notes, can be the most popular. Some of these bands' most popular hits, not all of them, some of them, are really, really simple. You take a song like In Between Days, and it's extremely easy to play, maybe not on the drums, but on the keyboard. The main riff of this song of In Between Days is very easy, and I love that song. Then you take a song like Pictures of You, and it may not sound that complicated to you if you've listened to that song, and it is kind of complicated. It is kind of hard to play because there's like 3 guitars in there and you don't know which one to follow, but they all follow simple accords. Simple accords. That's a word in Spanish. They follow simple arpeggios, simple notes. So why am I bringing this up? Because I think with combat in JRPGs, it's the same. It's the same. Some battle systems can be really simple and be very entertaining. Like take take Fire Emblem for example. Fire Emblem, you got your bunch of characters playing, in a grid-based map. You can move on grids. Each different characters have more range to move, more grids, and others less, right? But the basics are pretty simple. It follows a rock paper scissors formula. Scissors beat paper, paper beats rock, rock beats scissors. The same Fire Emblem, spear beats sword, sword beats axe, axe beats spear. But then there's magic, in magic, other magics cancel each other too. Like fire magic is strong against wind magic and wind, and so on, right? You probably know the mechanics of Fire Emblem. They are so popular, even if you don't like Fire Emblem. The gameplay, the battle mechanics in Fire Emblem are widely known. Everybody knows them. So the question is, well, for starters, do you consider that battle system simple? If you know and if you've played it, and I mean the older ones, I don't think Fire Emblem has gotten more complicated over the years. They added some features, like in Awakening, you could have like an ally during battle. I mean, if your ally is next to you and you join up, I forget the word, you join with that party member, the both of them can attack the same enemy, something like that, but it's still the same, right? I don't think Fire Emblem has ever gotten complicated at all. It's like one of the most simple strategy battle systems ever made. And well, Fire Emblem is the godfather of strategy JRPGs. It was the very first one Japan did that was successful over there, and it revolutionized the industry. We're gonna have to make a video about that. I'd like to make a video about that one day. It'll be pretty interesting, because a lot of people don't think of Fire Emblem as such a really hugely important JRPG, historically important. They don't think that way, and it is. It freaking is, man. It is. But it was in Japan. We didn't get Fire Emblem until the 2000s. So it didn't matter to us. We already have a bunch of strategy JRPGs. We already had this Gaia. We already had Final Fantasy Tactics. We already had Tactics Ogre, Shining Force, several others. So people don't know the importance of Fire Emblem in the strategy JRPG industry, but we'll leave that for another day. So what I was saying is that Fire Emblem has this very simple, very easy to understand, very easy to get into battle system, and it's phenomenal. Some of you don't like it. I've seen people saying, it's too simple, it's too boring. I respect that. To me, it's like heaven. I love Fire Emblem. Has my favorite battle system of all time. I like Suikoden more, but when it comes to battle systems, Fire Emblem is my favorite by far, man. And I love me a lot of battle systems. I haven't done that video, I know. I did 3 videos on the most unique battle systems, on the best battle systems per series, but I haven't done a top 10, my favorite 10 JRPG battle systems. Well, spoiler alert, Fire Emblem is gonna be number 1. Maybe I haven't done that video because it would be too obvious, but anyway, the point is that Fire Emblem has this really simplistic battle system. It's easy to understand, it's simple, but it's fun, it's engaging. I mean, you get it. I mean, I know it seems silly, guys, I know it is. But the rock, paper, scissors game, everybody does it. Everybody has played that at some point in their lives, right? Everybody knows that. It's fun. It's stupid, yes, it's silly, but it's fun. People still do that nowadays. So I think what Fire Emblem did was take something really, really simple and silly and turned it into a battle system that came out in 1990, and it still goes on today. And people still love it today. I mean, Fire Emblem has a huge amount of fans. Hundreds of thousands of fans, probably millions, including, obviously, most of them are in Japan. So, that to me, it's a phenomenal, very simple battle system. Now, an example of a very, phenomenal, amazing, fantastic, complicated battle system, well, I just gave you one. This guy, Valkyrie Profile 2, you guys know this. If you don't know this game, or if you don't know what the battle mechanics look like, go watch a video right now, and you'll see. And you'll probably be like, what the hell is going on in there? Yeah, you're right. That's what I first thought about this game. When I first played it, I was like, what the shit is this, man? What the ass is this? Is this turn-based, where my characters can move around? Is this action? Is this what the hell? So eventually, the story, I figured it out and I ended up loving it. Why I love this battle system so much, and I think I've explained it before in other videos, but I will explain it once more, is because, and this is important because this is one of the main ingredients for me on what makes a great JRPG battle system, is that sometimes you need to figure out things by yourself in order to enjoy them. Like I said before, sometimes you figure them out and you still don't enjoy them. We'll get to that in a bit. I'll expand on that in a bit. But sometimes you figure them out and you get this sense, not really a sense of accomplishment, more like a sense of understanding. And that's what happened to me with this game. I understood the battle mechanics and I exploited them. And I liked some things, some little details that most of us don't really pay attention. And I used to ignore these little details. I didn't know why I liked some battle systems, and when I had conversations with people who disliked this game, I was like, man, how do I explain to them how much the battle system kicks ass? Well, I'll try my best. First and foremost, these little details that I was telling you about, first and foremost, the sound effects when you attack your enemies, they're like very pleasant. They really sound like you're doing some damage, like you are hurting something, I'm a non-violent guy. I don't like, fighting in real life, but we all like violence. It's inside of us, right? We all enjoy that. Some people like to pretend they don't, but we do. We like watching it. So when we have the controller, and this happens more often this happens more often in action RPGs. I know that, we'll get to that in a bit. But this satisfaction that you get from hitting something, because sometimes there are video games where you hit something, and it's just like, and that's it. You kill the guy, you kill the enemy. It's like, really? I mean, really? And in Valkyrie Profile, you can even break the enemies. You start button mashing, everybody starts attacking. That's another great thing. It's kind of like a little bit like a real-time battle system, and this is what influenced this game. Indivisible. Well, it's somewhere around there. Indivisible, right? Like an indie game. That it's turn-based, but when you start, when it's your turn, it becomes kind of like action. So all the characters join in the attack right now. I kind of want to show you footage of it, but it's gonna take me a while. But anyway, so That's one of the reasons why I love this battle system so much, because it really feels like you're kicking ass. And that's very important, you know, and that's the difference sometimes between how one game can be really hard for one person and really easy for another, you know. I've seen people complaining about the games are too easy and it doesn't bring them satisfaction. Then they play some other games and they're like, man, I'm loving this because it's giving me that satisfaction. So that means the battle system is intuitive. You know, you feel, you know, it's giving you something. You're kind of like, the battle system is responsive. It's responding to your actions, and it doesn't. And this is nothing objective, right? This is not a fact. This is just something completely subjective. This is something that depends on you. Some battle systems, like Resonance of Fate, developed by the same company who did Valkyrie, by the way. It just didn't speak to me. I wasn't getting any satisfaction. You know, some people loved that battle system. I didn't. I was like, this is boring for me. You know, it wasn't responsive for me. It didn't respond to what I usually like doing, you know, in my battle systems. So I'm probably overly complicated things right now for you. Anyway. So when a battle system can do that to you, even if it's simple, or even if it's complicated, that's when you've personally found, I think, a great battle system. That's when you say, man, this is amazing. You know, because like I said, it's responding to you. And you feel like you are in control. You understand what you're doing, and you enjoy what you're doing. And in the game, there's this like symbiotic... I mean, I'm digging too deep in this, man. I know that. But there's like this symbiotic relationship between you and the game now, where you understand each other and you need each other in order to succeed. So yeah, that's the best I can explain why I love certain battle systems like the one in Valkyrie Profile. And I also like, you know, that you have these party members and you're controlling them at the same time. And in most action RPGs, hell, in all of them, correct me if I'm wrong, but in all action RPGs, you only control one character. The others, you know, are controlled by someone else or the computer in most cases. And in games like Valkyrie Profile, you control everybody. And you strategize in there, you're like, oh man, so I'm gonna do this attack for this monster. It makes you think. You know, it makes you try to figure it out things by yourself. It makes you plan different things. Sure, the game has some annoying things like the accessory system, which I fucking hate, by the way. I had to force myself to get used to that in order to have better attacks, better abilities, and so on. But I hated the accessory system in this game. You have no idea. You know, that pissed the shit out of me. You know, but I endure that as much as you guys endure things for your games. You know, you're really enjoying this game, and man, like, I'm really loving this, but I have to do this one thing. I have a video that I'll upload. I haven't done it, but I want to do it. I'll probably upload it in a few weeks. It's top 10 JRPGs ruined by one freaking thing. But it's not the case with this game, right? But we'll get to that in a few weeks. So there are some annoying things in battle systems that we can withstand. Like, to be honest, let's take a game like Shadow Hearts. I know most of you haven't played that game, but you've probably seen footage of it. You know, it's a turn-based RPG. It's pretty simple. It is an extremely simple classic turn-based system. You attack, the enemy attacks. Another party member attacks, and so on. Sometimes 3 party members attack, and then one enemy attacks. Classic. Except it has this judgment system. And it gives you several wide areas. You got this circle in here, and there's like a pizza. And it gives you slices of pizza. Some of them are wider than others, you know, so you can do 3 attacks, 2 attacks, 4 attacks, or 1 attack, depending on what you choose on your menus, right? So that's when it starts getting a little bit more complex, because you can also use these attacks to knock down the enemy, or to push it away, or to just regularly attack, and that is a little bit of strategy, you know, comes into play. But why I'm bringing Shadow Hearts is because it also has this judgment system. It's amazing, this judgment ring, this circle in there, and then you gotta click on the right part, because there's this Thank you, CB Ross. Thanks a bunch, man. You gotta click on this really small, short area that's usually red to make your attack more powerful. But as long as you click on the other area, which is really wide, and there's this counterclockwise, this thing like a clock moving. So if you click the button when the line is there, you attack successfully. But if you really want to get to this little part, like this little red part, it takes a fraction of a second to get it right, and you do more damage. So that's kind of annoying, sure, but it's kind of creative. It makes you want to strive for that. And that's why the battle system in Shadow Hearts is just as amazing as the one in Valkyrie Profile. It's nowhere near as convoluted and complicated, but it's amazing because it gives you that satisfaction that if you get this little red line right, if you click in there at the right time, you're like, yes, you feel it. It plays with your senses. It gives you that satisfaction. Sometimes, but it also gives you frustration if you don't. Because if you're aiming for that part, and if you don't, and you click outside of the range, your attack misses. And it frustrates you, and you're like, man, so you're often trying to say, I'm gonna click on the white area, fuck the red area, forget about it, no sir. But sometimes you get tempted and you're like, man, I'm gonna try either way. So it does that to you. I mean, I'm not saying this does that to every people. There's somebody out there who probably hates the battle system in Shadow Hearts. But, it's one of those battle systems that I really enjoyed because it's that. It's like that. And I love it. Now, let's talk about, like, the extremely simple battle systems. Let's take some of the Ys games. I think Ys, got more... Well, it's never been complicated, to be honest. I don't feel like you guys feel Ys. Have you played any Ys games, especially the modern ones? Do you feel the battle systems, the battle mechanics in Ys are complicated? I don't think so. I think they're more complicated in the Tales games. Tales is another conversation. I've seen a lot of people saying the battle system is too fucking simple, and others saying it's too complicated. They don't get it. And I've seen this comment from people who are like Souls fans or Ys fans. They play a Tales game, and they're like, what the hell am I doing? But Tales is another conversation. So I want to talk about the Ys games in the middle, not the very first ones, nor the very last ones. Like in the middle, like the PSP Ys games. They have these really simple battle mechanics. The ones with the party members is another story. But the ones where you only play with Adol, it's just Adol. You swing your sword, you do these combos. Sometimes you can do these attacks, these moves, this whirlwind move, or these double jump attack and whatever. So it is extremely simple, and I love it. So why do I love it so much? What's giving this battle system to me? Considering it's just extremely simple and silly. It's your everyday hack and slash game. There's nothing special about them, right? What's giving to me is, me personally, I'm not saying this is gonna work out for you. For example, I've seen some Souls fans hating Ys games because they're exact opposites. In Souls, you got your whatever weapon and you gotta, attack carefully every enemy. You gotta know, I'm gonna attack this from the side or from behind, or I'm gonna attack and guard, or to time my attacks. It's very technical, right? But in Ys, it's just blah, 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 and that's it. It's just chaotic. And that's what drives me to those games. It's chaotic, but it's also responsive. You've probably played other action games, hack and slash games, RPGs or not, and the action is not satisfactory. You're not really feeling like you're doing anything, or even if you do, it's kind of you do that, sure, you're kicking some ass, but then 3 hits and you're dead. I want to quote one game that I love. But it's one of those games that you know my story, right? It's a game, one of those love-hate relationship games. This is Rogue Galaxy. Rogue Galaxy is a game with, I think it has amazing controls. I mean, if you play as Jaster, you can play as every character hero you want, but they all control differently. What's important about this game is that Rogue Galaxy has this action hack and slash system. If you play with a character like Jaster Rogue, this blonde guy here, he uses a sword and it's hack and slash. The two most annoying things I find in the battle system in this game is that it's a little bit like Odin's Sphere. You attack for like 5 seconds and then you get tired, and then you either need to guard or move around to recover your bar so you can attack again. I hate that. I hated that on Odin's Sphere. I freaking loved Odin's Sphere on the PS2. I loved it to pieces, you guys know that, the original version. But I always hated that. And what they did on the remake, what they did on the remake remaster, it's one of those games, right? You don't know if it's a remake or a remaster. I should do a discussion video on that one day. What's a remake, what's a remaster, what's a port? Because I know the differences, man, when it comes to this game. Anyway, so they removed that. So if they ever do the same with Rogue Galaxy, a remaster/remake, I hope they can get rid of that. Do you like that? Good for you, I respect that. Well, I don't. I hated that part. You know, it's just why? So East doesn't do that. The East games don't do that. And they're fast-paced and they're chaotic. So why am I saying that fast-paced? I'm not saying fast-paced action games are better than technical action games like Souls. But maybe it's because I think we like certain battle mechanics because of our personalities and because of our experiences in life. You know, sometimes, if you guys know me, I'm edgy. You know, I've been frustrated in my life several times. And a lot of people, you know, decide to do exercise, right? Some training, some boxing, some sports to let the frustrations out. Me, I play the guitar every day. And I'm a rhythm guy. I'm not the type of guy who just, you know, I respect this a lot, and I love listening to that, but the solos and the arpeggios, and I love that, but I can't do that. You know, it exasperates me. I'm a rhythm guy. I wanna be like that, like that. So for me, certain battle systems like the East series, they give me that satisfaction. You know, I vent out my frustrations by going as fast as I can without having to stop and think about what my enemy is gonna do. Sure, there's a lot of thinking in the East games. There's some boss battles where you need to think carefully, attack from, you know, they have some technicalities as well, the East games. But most of the time you're just swinging your weapons around and beating the crap out of your enemies and getting pushed around, shoved around, you know, hurt and damaged. But you get back immediately, and there you go. Again, that's why I think that combat in East is phenomenal. And that's why I believe the combat in this game could be phenomenal if not for that freaking bar. And this is also one of those games, well, the East games, if you play them on hard, or some of them even on normal, you know, 3 hits and you're dead, you know. They beat the crap out of you in like 5 hits and that's it, you die. So it's frustrating, right? But at least in that game, you know, it makes you want to keep going because of other stuff. In this game, there's a lot of positive things about this game, but we don't want to get into that. You know, sometimes, well, I guess it's important. I guess it's important because sometimes the battle system may not be that great, or it may have something we don't like about it. That's kind of like, I'm loving this battle system, but this one thing, like the bar and this, like, it's just pissing me off. But I still beat this game. Why? Why did I beat this game? Why did I even bother? Well, because the story is great, the graphics for its time were badass. You know, it has this, you know, great sense of exploration, even though you were getting lost most of the time. And the battle system, besides that freaking bar, you know, it was amazing. I loved it. So there's a lot of good things about video games that makes us keep going. But there's also, and I like to bring this up, I've seen people praising some games and saying, oh, that game has a great battle system. And you're like, no, it doesn't, at least not in my opinion. So what's going on? And the person explains to you why they love the game so much, and you figure it out. You say, oh, you don't really love the battle system. You love everything else. And that's making you unconsciously love the battle system, you know. Or maybe you do like the battle system, but you do realize it has a lot of flaws. Okay? And if you take everything else from the game, the story, the characters, the graphics, the music, I want to go back to the East games in a bit because of the music. But you take everything away from that and you just play the battle system. Do that. You know, I invite you guys to do that with one of your games. I mean, maybe it's not going to be possible because you already played it, right? You already got acquainted with the characters. You already love the characters, but maybe try and do that, you know. try taking everything away from the game except the combat, and maybe you'll see, man, the combat was not that great. I loved it because I loved everything else. But anyway, it's just an opinion. That's my Rogue Galaxy thing, or my Odin Sphere, the first one, the original game thing. So I mentioned the music, right? I mentioned that sometimes we love some games because of this, and that. Well, the music is one of them. I like metal music. I like rock music, industrial music, grunge music, punk music. I like that type of music, man. I also like jazz and blues and classical music and instrumental and experimental. I like a lot of genres. But I'm a rock guy. I'm a rocker. So these games have this music, this music that even if the battle system, even if the controls weren't that great on the East games, I will still play the heck out of them because this music gives me adrenaline. It gives me something bad. So remember back what I said at the beginning, it's responsive. It's responding to me. And we are getting into this relationship, me and the game. We are understanding each other, and that's what's happening. So sometimes these little features that have nothing to do with the battle system or the battle mechanics can make us enjoy the battle mechanics even more. And for East, I think that's great, and I think they know that. I think Falcom knows that. They are aware that the battle system in their East games is nothing special. It's just very simple, but very, very fun. So they probably thought, what are we gonna do? Oh, let's do this. Let's put this really badass music, this rapid, kind of like a little bit of a speed metal music sometimes, this very energetic music, So we pump the player up, and that's it. That was freaking genius, man. So anyway, now I think I went to a different direction, but let's go back to wrap things up to the battle systems that are really simple, really, really simple at its best, like the very first Dragon Quest games, for example. That's as simple as it gets. There can't be anything more simple than that. You got your menu: attack, defend, item. That's it. Well, some characters are mage type of characters, so they can cast one spell, like the first Final Fantasy game, right? That's as basic as it gets. So what about those battle systems? Do you think they're fun? Do you think they're great battle systems? We all know that these types of really, really extremely simple battle mechanics, were laid the basis for others. Somebody else arrived. Hironobu Sakaguchi played Dragon Warrior. The original Dragon Warrior, the original Dragon Quest. Hironobu Sakaguchi that's the creator of Final Fantasy, and he said, how can I improve this? How can I change this? How can I make this more, how can I give this system more variety? Because in the first Dragon Quest, you can only play as one guy. You have no party members. Party members began on Dragon Quest until the second game. So he saw that. He probably played the second one too, maybe, I don't think so. But because Final Fantasy came before the second Dragon Quest game, I don't remember. But anyway, he came up with, allies. Instead of fighting with one guy, you get to fight with 3 more. And they have jobs, you can change their jobs. So he was genius. I don't want to shit on Dragon Warrior, man, but Final Fantasy was extremely innovative. You got these characters and you could change their jobs. And you can do different things. Your guy that was previously a mage, you could just choose another job. Everybody was doing something different, so you gotta balance things out. You have your mage. Okay, I'm gonna get a mage, a healer, a warrior, and a thief, and that's a classic party. And then off you go. Or you can just have 4 mages if you want to, or 4 healers. I don't know why would you do that. 4 healers, and then there you go. So for now, you go back and play the first Final Fantasy, and it's like, man, this is just okay. And I've said that in previous videos. I didn't grow up with Final Fantasy. I played the first Final Fantasy on the NES when I was already an adult. I think I was 20 years old. So it didn't do anything for me because back then I had already played several other JRPGs with greatly innovative battle mechanics. But all battle systems came from there. So I realized the historical importance of that game, and I imagine that when people played Final Fantasy for the very first time back in the 80s, they were probably blown away. They were like, what is this, you know? You got these text adventure games where you just make a decision and the enemy fights and your character fights and that's it, you do nothing. And then came Dragon Warrior or Ultima, the Ultima games, the Wizardry games, and they had these really simplistic systems, you know, and then came Final Fantasy and revolutionized the industry, right? So, but the question is, are those battle mechanics great? Nowadays, for me they aren't, because like I said, battle systems evolved from that. You know, here's another story. The creator, the developers of Shining Force, Takahashi brothers, I think. These guys played Fire Emblem, the first one, the one that never came out of Japan until a couple of years ago. So they played Fire Emblem and they were like, you know what, this is too hard, this is too simple, maybe we can do this in another way. And they changed it. It's very similar. If you at its core, the battle mechanics in Shining Force are very similar to the ones in Fire Emblem. You got this bunch of characters moving on grids, and when you attack an enemy, you know, it changes this screen on 1 and 2. Only 2 characters are there, and one attacks the other. You get this attack animation, and the other one counterattacks. Sometimes, not in Shining Force, often the enemy wouldn't counterattack. In Fire Emblem, everybody counterattacked, even your allies. You hit me, I hit you. That's a universal rule in Fire Emblem, but not in Shining Force. So they changed a little bit, they tweaked the battle mechanics a little bit, and it turned out to be great. People loved it. It also revolutionized, you know, it laid, you know, it was a stepping forward. Laid the basis for strategy RPGs. Fire Emblem, Shining Force, Land Greaser, Crystal Warriors. These are games, these are the fathers of strategy RPGs. And that's what happened, you know, they just changed things a little bit. And that's what's been happening with every JRPG battle system you can imagine. Somebody played, like Sakaguchi played Dragon Warrior and was like, I'm gonna change things a little bit. So, I don't know, maybe the developers of Breath of Fire or Phantasy Star played Final Fantasy and were like, I'm gonna change this to this and that and do this and that. And everybody loved it. And then so on. And then there's also been people who did the same and failed. They were like, man, I'm gonna do this and that. I'm gonna be very creative and original, and they failed. We've seen a lot of cases like that on modern games. They just don't feel as, you know, great as other AAA titles or others. They're still releasing games, but the question is, have we seen it all? Is there no new battle mechanics or more? Can battle systems evolve even more? I think they can, but it's just everything's been done already. That what are these developers gonna do, right? What the hell are they gonna do? That's different. That feels different and refreshing. I think sometimes the key is to do the same as everybody else did. Don't do these radical changes, because sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it miraculously works. Sometimes, but sometimes nowadays, especially nowadays, it just doesn't. You know, it's like, I've seen this battle system before, it doesn't feel too different from this one, or this is like way too different from anything I've seen, but it's bad. I don't understand it, or I understand it, but it's not really fun, or it's too hard, or it's too easy. Indie developers have a lot of problems on that area. But they really want so hard to be original and creative that they end up being extremely convoluted. Or they stop paying attention to other important areas. Like Robert Smith said from The Cure, you know, sometimes the simplest things can do wonders, can be the best things out there. So there you go. I could go on, I could break down several hundreds of battle systems, you know, but I think I've made my point. What do you guys think right now? Let's take a few minutes to talk about this. I want to read some of the comments. That's an interesting idea. Top video about the game mechanics that are becoming obsolete by the industry. I don't think anything is obsolete, you know, at this point, because I do believe, like I said, that they can keep evolving. They just need to be creative, just not that creative, right? They just need to go back and study all these guys. They said, like Hironobu said, okay, I'm gonna do these things like in Dragon Warrior, but maybe add this and this. It's not gonna break the game, but it's something different, right? What do you think of the Xenoblade battle system? Ooh, that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, I think the Xenoblade battle system, I think I like it. I think it's good. It's a little bit innovative, but not really. I mean, it's just Final Fantasy XII or White Knight Chronicles. You know, it's very, very similar to those. So it's not really innovative, but it's okay. They did what I just described. Monolith Soft said, I want to do something like those games, but a little bit different. And they succeeded. And Xenoblade is huge. People love the battle mechanics. They aren't among my favorite battle systems, but they're great nonetheless. What I don't like is that this is gonna be controversial, but the Xenoblade combat may be complicated or very creative for you, but to me it's just very simple and not that engaging for me. Okay? I know you're gonna be like, what? Well, it's engaging to you and a lot of people out there. I know that and I respect that. It's just not that great or innovative or intuitive or responsive to me. But I still like it. I don't think it's bad at all. So, Growlancer Heritage of War did the Final Fantasy XII combat best. Well, it's very similar, you know. It is very similar, and it did it first. No, wait, which game came first? We're gonna have to figure that out. But both games took elements from MMORPGs. So, you know, it's not like they created the formula. You know, the battle system in those games is like an MMORPG. It's real time, and that's it. Except you can these are MMORPGs, so you can just pause the game while bringing up the menus, you know, and select the different actions. It's a really interesting battle system, the one in Growlancer. It's an evolution of the one in the first Growlancer that came on the mid-90s, you know, before MMORPGs ever existed. So, damn, that's an important game, right? So what do you guys think? I have played Final Fantasy V recently and I like the labor system. You mean the job system? Oh well, jobs is a huge thing. It was popularized in the first Final Fantasy. And then it kept going that way all the way until Final Fantasy V. After 5, it kind of like, it didn't exactly disappear, it just wasn't the main focus. You know, but they brought it, they're trying to bring it back, which is interesting. Myself, I'm not really a fan of the job system. I've said this before, I'm more of a class guy. I prefer if my character is going to be an archer, I want that character to be an archer the whole game. But I want him to, you know, class up, like to evolve from an archer to a sniper or to a better archer or something like that. I prefer that. I don't really like about turning my monk into a mage or my mage into a swordsman. I'm not really a fan of that. Never was, never will be. But yeah, I get it. Well, like I said, it was innovative when it was created in the 80s, but I don't think it has evolved that much. I think most games with job systems feel like the same to me. Most, not all of them, but most. If it's simple yet complex, I think it's gonna work and easily attract many people and eventually. Exactly. You know what the guitarist for Deftones said? That's one of my favorite bands. Deftones. That's a metal band. He said that, you know, sometimes you need to make it look like it's complex, but in the inside it's just very simple. You know, it needs to be simple. You know, and then that's what's gonna be more appealing to people. Exactly. Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei, we didn't discuss that. It's also a very simple system. It's like, I fight, you fight. Oh, it's my turn, I'm gonna hit you. But if I hit your weakness, I get an extra turn. But if you hit my weakness, you'll get an extra turn. That's it. That's it. That's the Shin Megami Tensei battle system explained. It's just very, very freaking simple. And it just works wonders. And it's still going nowadays and people are still loving it. So, like I said before, for the people who joined late in this stream, I do love a lot, and you guys know that, I love a lot of overly complicated battle systems. Yeah, but I can do both. I can love both. I love me some really complicated systems and some really simple systems, as long as, what I already explained in today's video, as long as they are responsive to me. As long as they give me that something, they connect with me, that they're giving me that satisfaction, that level of fun, and that level of understanding, and that level of challenge. That engagement is what I often seek in a battle system in JRPGs. And that's it, guys. That's it. Let me know what you think here in the chat. Well, you already did during the entire stream. If you still have something to say, or if you haven't said anything, leave it in the comments and start your own discussion between you guys. I said what I had to say. That's where I stand, and that's what I think makes a great JRPG battle system. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friend. See you next time.